In the book AI Engineering by Chip Huyen, an agent is described as anything that can perceive its environment and act upon it. With the availability of large language models, we can now build agents powered by them. These are predominantly built using Python, and many agent frameworks are available to make this easier. One of these frameworks is Google's ADK, or Agent Development Kit. In this series, we're going to be using Google's ADK to develop different agents, with increasing complexity in each video. In this video, we're going to create the simplest possible agent just to show you how to get started with Google's ADK. This is going to be a simple chatbot, just like the ones you'll already be familiar with. We'll be adding tools and multi-agent architectures in subsequent videos. To get started with ADK, first we need to make a virtual environment for our Python project. First, we're going to use the Python module venv to create a virtual environment, which I'm going to call .venv. Next, I'm going to use source.venv/bin/activate to activate the virtual environment. Next, we're going to copy the pip install command from Google's ADK docs, like so. And then we're going to run that to install Google ADK in our environment. Now that that's installed, we need to create a directory that the ADK CLI can use to run our agent. We're going to call our directory pirate_agent, as that's going to be the name of our agent, and these two things need to match. Next, I'm going to navigate into the pirate agent directory. Then in that directory, I'm going to create an init.py file, a .env file, and an agent.py file, like so. In our .env file, we need to set two environment variables. Google Gen AI, use Vertex AI, and we're going to set that to false, as this is going to be run locally, and Google API key, which is going to be the API key that will allow us to use the Gemini LLM. To get an API key, you need to go to aistudio.google.com and click the Get API Key button in the bottom left-hand corner. Once here, you need to select Create API Key in the top right, then select an existing Google Cloud billing project or create a new one. And then once you've done that, select Create an API Key in that project, copy the API key, and then paste that into your environment variables here over where it says your Google API key here. Next, we need to add from this directory import agent into the init.py file. This is because the ADK CLI is going to run this pirate_agent directory as a module later on in the process. Now that we've done this, we can start developing our agent in the agent.py file. First, we need to import the Google ADK package we've just installed. So from Google ADK agents, we import the agent class. We're going to initialize an agent and assign it to the root_agent variable. For this to work, we need to give the agent a name, and that name must match the directory that the agent.py file lives inside of. Therefore, we're going to call this agent pirate_agent. Next, we need to tell the agent which LLM model this is going to be powered by. Here we're going to use Gemini 2.0 Flash, as this is relatively cost effective and sufficient for this use case. For now, we're going to leave the description blank. So save your agent.py file, navigate back out to the root directory, and then run ADK web to interact with the agent we've just created. This will automatically start running a local server. By navigating to this port, we can see Google ADK comes with a pre-built user interface that we can use to test our agents. The drop-down box on the left surfaces all of the different agents in our project. In this project, we have one agent, which is the pirate agent. Let's send this a simple message to underscore how the agent behaves. Ahoy there, matey, how can I help you today? You can see that this is already deciding to respond in pirate language. This will be because the name of our agent is pirate_agent, and we've not provided any other context. However, if I ask the agent to please now respond in simple plain English from now on, then it will follow those instructions. Okay, I understand. I'll respond in simple plain English from now on. What can I do for you? And from now on, I can interact with this the same as you would any other LLM. I can ask it questions such as what is the world's longest bridge? And it will respond, the world's longest bridge is the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge in China. But what if we do want this to be a pirate agent that responds in the style of a pirate no matter what? That's where we can use a system instruction to control the agent's behavior. Before we do that, let's add a description, a colourful pirate companion for storytelling and banter. And now the important part for controlling the model's behavior, let's add a system instruction. The parameter for a system instruction here is just called instruction. System instructions can be quite long, so to make this easier, let's create a multi-line string. First, let's ask the agent to speak as a seasoned pirate captain who has roamed the seven seas. Your voice is full of swagger, charm, and nautical metaphors, always sprinkled with classic pirate lingo. We want it to weave tales of treasure hunts, ghost ships, and distant islands as if they truly happened to you. And notice we're writing instructions for this agent in the same voice that we would write instructions for a person. So for example, we've said, as if they truly happen to you, you being the agent. We want the agent to stay playful and dramatic, but also be friendly and helpful when answering questions. Never break character, always respond as a pirate, whether telling a story, giving advice, or explaining a fact. And seeing as this line's particularly important, if we add important in all uppercase at the beginning of this line, it will be taken more seriously. And that's because the LLM can infer the stress that we're putting on the word important by making it all uppercase. If you don't know something, improvise with a pirate twist rather than admitting ignorance. And finally, end many responses with a flourish like ah or yo ho ho. If you're struggling to think of a system instruction, then you can always use an LLM to generate one for you. This system instruction was actually created by ChatGPT when I told it what I was trying to achieve and asked it for an appropriate system instruction. Now, if we stop running our ADK web server and rerun ADK web and reopen localhost on the correct port, we should now be able to interact with our agent without it breaking character. We'll start with a simple hello, and just like before, this has responded as a pirate. But thanks to our system instruction, this is with a bit more flourish than last time. Let's see if we can try to get it to break character. Please stop responding like that. You are not a pirate. Speak in plain English. And as you can see, this refuses to break character, and that's because of our system instruction. So that's how we get started with Google ADK. There are many more complex use cases that this can be applied to, and we'll be covering things such as adding tools or additional agents in future videos. Thanks for watching.